As the horrors of World War II came to light, one of the most unsettling truths was the role that women played in the Nazi regime. Some willingly offered their bodies to the enemy, while others were forced into sexual slavery. But what happened to these women after the war ended? In this video, we explore the little-known punishments inflicted upon women who slept with Nazis. Prepare to be shocked by the cruel and unusual methods used to seek justice for these wartime atrocities. The Third Reich swept over Europe with incredible speed. German Nazi forces invaded other nations' capitals and acted as overlords. Naturally, this latitude had an impact on the individuals as well. The majority of the Nazis were young, physically fit guys who found nothing wrong with sleeping with a lady they loved. They were not at all worried about the long-term effects of their activities on the selected ladies, and it turned out that the fate was putting the unfortunate girls through the toughest tests. They were also exposed to them throughout the post-war era. Regarding the number of women who has ties with Nazis in France, it's fair to say that France takes the top spot. Impressive garrisons were placed on its land after its fall, and its men almost immediately flocked to all the local brothels. Just in the Paris suburbs, there were more than 30 of these brothels, although Nazi German command made an official effort to limit the proclivity of its staff in the brothels. In reality, more and more French women were waking up to a German embrace every day. However, not all Nazi Germans looked for love in prostitution. Many women who engaged in sexual relationships with Nazis did so under coercion, threat or duress, and punishing them for their actions would be a violation of their human rights. Furthermore, any attempt to punish these women would perpetuate harmful gender stereotypes and fail to address the root causes of the problem. Instead, it's crucial to promote understanding, compassion and empathy, and to learn from the lessons of history. Relationships were sometimes started with regular French ladies, of course. Not all women slept with the invaders just out of a desire for physical closeness. In this matter, many women attempted to provide for their children and themselves. They honestly believed it to be shameful, yet they nevertheless did it to save their loved ones. French ladies who surrendered to the Germans would have their hair entirely chopped off, warned the French resistance fighters in pamphlets circulated to the populace. "We'll put something on your back," purchased by the Germans. Young French ladies are selling the blood and soul of their people when they give their bodies to the Gestapo or the militia. Future moms and brides are obligated to maintain their virginity out of love for their country. However, following the victory, neither a woman's moral nor financial hardship nor the fact that she spent the night with a Nazi were seen as mitigating factors. Such women received harsh punishments because they were openly identified as criminals and traitors to their country. In other cases, they were even sentenced to death without being given a chance to defend themselves. People with rifles in their hands stormed into homes and dragged women out by force, carried them to the town square and chopped off their hair. To prevent resistance from the ladies, they were restrained by their arms. The barber used either scissors or a shearing machine as part of their patriotic duties. Because the punishment and humiliation were carried out in public in front of relatives, neighbours and acquaintances, they were all the more severe. The audience laughed and cheered. The scandalised ladies were then led through the street so that everyone might see them. The women's clothing was sometimes ripped. The boys yelled. Various estimates placed the number of abused women at over 20,000 to demonstrate their devotion to the government. The new regional authorities often executed innocent individuals. At the time, defamation or unfounded suspicion could sometimes be sufficient. It's estimated that 200,000 German men fathered children in France, and 80,000 of them were formally recognised as having German paternity. The German archives confirm this. The mothers of the children received less sympathy from the French than the youngsters did. The only actions taken consisted of prohibiting them from studying German and from using German names. Of course, not all of them managed to stave off assaults from adults and their classmates. In addition, a lot of these infants were reared in orphanages after being given up by their mothers. By the way, we should point out that provisions allowing Wehrmacht veterans, children born in France, to receive German citizenship has been in effect in Germany since 2009. The Norwegian authorities started to prosecute ex-Nazi girlfriends with no less passion than the French after being liberated from the Nazis. These women received genuine sentences that included rigorous forced labour, and they were punished more harshly than the French ladies. The punishment ranged from 1 to 5 years and is sometimes the case. A woman falls pregnant after an intimate connection, and the same applied to the ladies from the sieged regions, particularly the Scandinavian kingdom. Approximately 7,000 children were born to Germans there. Situation was unfortunate. The youngsters were transported to specialised orphanages after their mothers received sentences and were institutionalised. In these institutions, their names were frequently changed so that women who gave birth to them could not locate them once their sentence was complete. Occasionally, though, the Norwegian women exhibited tenacity, and despite the challenges, they managed to locate their kids and demand their return. But then the system of harsh justice kicked in, which was never found to be on the side of the unfortunate. Regaining parental rights was impractical. The courts explicitly declared that they would never permit it and implied that giving up the kid was the best course of action. Some gave up because they lacked the stamina to fight while others persisted. However, their efforts were also fruitless. Additionally, fresh charges were brought against the unfortunate women. Additionally, they frequently underwent medical exams. As a result, doctors made the correct diagnoses, declaring them insane and frequently imprisoning them for lengthy periods, and occasionally for life. In general, Norway treated these women more harshly than any other country. They sometimes seemed to be regarded as practically the worst traitors, worse than even those who had openly sided with fascists and engaged in combat with their people. In addition to being morally damaged by their sentencing, the government had a tactic propensity to utterly forget about them. It was vital to rebuild the image of the nation which had vigorously taken part in the struggle against the fascist invaders. Therefore, it was intended to wipe the sad events from the kingdom's history. There were no traitors among its members. It's obvious that women who had relationships with Nazi Germany, let alone their birth of the offspring, did not fit into the vision. The status of women in Poland and the Netherlands, the penalties meted out to women in the Netherlands were akin to those in France, or to put it in another way, a disgrace. They were made to kneel in dung, had their hair shaved, and had their heads painted orange. The ordinary people also couldn't be expected to have it easy, since the villages cursed them, sought to degrade and oppress them in every manner, continually beat the kids, and informed them at every turn that their mothers were traitors. A move to a new location was often the only way out. Women fled their homes with just their kids and a few possessions. Due to the heightened public hostility, it was impossible to sell any property. Additionally, bank employees tried to avoid making them any loans. But the Polish women caught the Nazi occupiers' attention the most. Some Nazi German leaders believed that the Poles were the country that was the most similar to the German nation, including Heinrich Himmler himself. As a result, there was a severe screening process used to determine whether Polish women belonged more to the Aryan race or the Slavic race through the conflict. Himmler said, with the latter, it was feasible to raise the population of the superior race. This kind of rape was used on a large number of women, many of whom later gave birth to children. We hope this video sheds light on a lesser known aspect of history and helps you understand the complexities of the post-war World War II era. Now, it's time to hear from you. Did you learn something new? Do you have any questions or comments? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing from our viewers and engaging in discussions. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video. Bye for now.